Tonight we're running on the right track.
Hi, my name is Chastity and I'm going to be making some biscuits and gravy for you today. And we have the real country deal. We have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of sugar and half a teaspoon of salt. And we're just doing a whole stick of butter in here. Now I had mine in the freezer to keep it cold. It's not solid and it's real butter. We don't use margarine. In the South we use butter. And you're going to take 2 knives, and what you're going to do is you're going to cut in the butter. And let's see here. It's a little weird and it's exactly how it sounds. You're really cutting in the butter. You're just going to cut it in. This is going to take 5 or 10 minutes. Cut it into the flour. And you want it to be like a pea-sized amount. Oh my goodness. Okay. So in here. All my butter is now in little pea sizes, so we're just going to add in all the milk, and that's 3/4 of a cup. You're going to mix this in with the fork until all the dry stuff is gone, and then you're done. You're going to sprinkle some flour on our surface. I'm just going to go straight out the bag here. Oh, that feels nasty. I don't like it. Okay. And I'm just going straight in with my hands. I did wash my hands, by the way. Please wash your hands when you do this. That's nasty. Just gonna pop it all down here. Ew. Gross. I love it. Alright, and now we're just going to knead it. Dust my hands in it. And now you see it's not very thick. I don't know how much that is, but it's just not very thick. And I'm using using a cup and I'm just gonna cut out the shape of my biscuits. Now, if you're using like a cookie cutter, a lot of the reviews and little tips and tricks said not to take it and twist it and seal it because then you don't get a fluffy biscuit. But I've never done this before, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Because there's only one way to know what'll happen. It's to do it. Let's see. They're so cute and ugly, I love it. Now my nails ain't done, don't look at them. Okay. That's probably good. And if you find that your cutter or your cup is starting to stick, you can dip it in flour. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Put that back on top.
How many are you making?
I have absolutely no idea. However many I can get out of it. After you finish and you see how you have all this excess dough, you can take it and fold it over one more time and get those biscuits. Alright, now we're going to put our biscuits in. The oven is preheated at 450 and it's only going to take about 12 to 14 minutes, maybe a little longer, kind of just watch. Put it in and get started on our gravy. Now for the gravy, I'm mixing the breakfast sausage myself. You don't have to do that. You can go buy your Jimmy Dean or whatever you want to do. But if you do want to do this, let me pull up. I already have my spices pre-measured. I just forgot how much of what it is. So I'll find it right quick. Put it over low. Perfect. And it's just sage breakfast sausage. It's a really big spoon. And so far, I have mixed a tablespoon of dried sage. I have a teaspoon of salt. I'm about to put in a teaspoon of brown sugar. I have half a teaspoon of black pepper. And I have about an 1/8 to a 1/4 of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of marjoram and a pinch of ground cloves. I'm just gonna, I don't have an actual little measure thingy, little teaspoon measurer, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. It's probably a little more than what I need, but it's all good. I'm just gonna mix in the brown sugar. It's got a kind of almost like a wet feel. It's kind of weird. Just need to mix it in. My little paper bowl. It's all good. Less mess to clean up. Just make sure I'm doing this right because I've never done this before. Just like to mention that again. Yep. So I'm just going to pour it in. This is a pound of ground pork. I'm just going to pour it in. It's easier if you use your hands. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to hate myself for it. So I'm just going to, oh yeah, see that's nasty. which is nasty. But it's all good. And yes, I did wash my hands before I did this. Just want to remind everyone, wash your hands. And then wash your hands after this, because this is raw meat, and that's bad for you. And I'm just mixing it so that all the dry ingredients get incorporated in all of the meat. Perfect. Pop that down and wash my hands. Alright, and I'm just gonna kind of flatten this out a little bit. And once this stove top gets hot, it'll start cooking. I'm gonna start on the gravy. 3 cups of milk. Just gonna eyeball them again. Alright, and I don't have a 4th measuring cup, but I have a 3rd, which is more than a 4th, so I'm not going to fill it all the way. I'm probably just going to go just below. Yeah, that's good. Our sausage is almost ready, and I just don't want to burn it, so I'm watching. Our biscuits are still in the oven. You're going to be tempted to open the oven door to check on them, but don't do that. Not until it's close to time. See, we still got another 4 or 5 minutes until the time says the biscuits should be ready. But if you really want to look, there's an oven light somewhere. Otherwise, just kind of wait. Gotta be relaxed. Spoons. Got 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm just gonna plop it in here until it melts, which will not take long. And now, if your sausage, say, is too oily, you can drain some of it, but I'm not having that problem right now. You'll need some of it. You'll need probably about a tablespoon to get that sausage flavor still, but, you know, you don't want over oily gravy. That's just kind of gross. Here we go. My butter will melt. And now here's our 1/4 cup of flour, and you're just going to sprinkle it over. Let it cook. Mix it in. Cook it up. Sure I'm not doing this wrong. We're just going to let it cook a little bit more. Mix it. Yeah. Now I'm just breaking up any overly big pieces while I'm letting it cook some more. That way they're all bite-sized. We're going to add the milk and stir. Let me turn this down just a little bit. Stir this. after about 5 minutes or so, if you don't see it's at the consistency you want, say it's too milky, you can add more flour. That's totally cool. You can do it. I'm just gonna add all of that because I'm not pouring it back in the carton. No, okay, I'm just gonna pour it back. Alright, now we just wait some more. Until it thickens. Oh, it's hot. Alright, so our biscuits are done. We're just waiting on the gravy now. And that's okay because the gravy, once you pour it on top, it'll heat it right back up. Alright, so here's our gravy. You see how thick this is? Yeah, this is good. We like this. So it's now done. Let's take this off. Now if you leave it in this same spot, it's hot, so it's going to continue to cook. So I'm going to move it back, give it a chance to cool some while I make my guests plates.
I'm just chowing down. So bad.
Obviously, I have absolutely no idea what I did, so I'm just going to work on that. It's chill.
No. It is good.
Yay, okay, cool. So this has been a success. I'm hungry, so I'm going to eat. Bye.